Alright folks, this is another short update on what I'm going to do with the tool chest. As you can see, I've decided to remove the base from the sides. I got some varnish today, as it happens. I was going to go with the satin pine stain, and I'm still unsure whether or not that was the right choice or not to go with the varnish, but I've got varnish now. That came at a price of £5.50 for one of those sort of small tins, about 250 millilitres. I've also priced some new laminate. I haven't picked it up yet, but I'll be placing an order for that this week. The tool chest dimensions are 15 inches by 30 inches, okay? So I can get 2 sheets of plyboard for £7 off that dimension, right? So that's a little bit expensive really for all that you're getting, but at the same time it's not going to break the bank. So that'll be £5.50 for the varnish, an extra £7 for the plyboard. That's £12.50. Now I wanted to get some brass screws to replace some of the screws that was in the tool chest. You know, I don't know if they've been lost over the years or what's happened, but there's some steel ones which were quite rusted, and there was also a few brass ones. And so maybe the steel ones had snapped over time or something like that has occurred, I don't know, and then they were replaced possibly with brass, or the brass ones have just been lost and they've just used whatever as hand to put the chest back together. So anyway, I tried to source some brass wood screws off eBay, and you know, there's a lot of eBay resellers who will be buying in bulk and then breaking them up into little packets of 10 and selling them for like £1 or £2. Now I was needing maybe a dozen or 2 dozen wood screws of 2 different sizes, and when you added it together plus the postage fees, it just wasn't worth it. Yeah, I found a trade supplier that can sell you boxes of wood screws in quantities of 200 per box for about £4 per box, you know, £4 or £5. Now the problem with that is, although that's a much better deal than what you'd get on eBay, you incur postage if you don't have a minimum spend of £10. So I was wanting 1/2 inch and 3/4 inch screws, and that came to about £8, £9 odds, and then there'd be another £5 for postage. But you get free postage if you've got a minimum order of £10 or more. So I just went and got a box of I wanted 3/4 inch and inch long screws, so I just added in a box of 1/2 inch as well, to boost my order over the £10 and therefore get free delivery. So I've got them, 1/2 inch, 3/4 and inch long, and the head sizes are number 6, which fit quite nicely on the hinges. They're not proud of the hinge at all, and they're not that small that it's going to damage the hole in the hinge and cause the hinge to spring off the wood. So they're the right size, yeah. Now that there was £12 maybe, something like that. So that's blowing my budget straight out of the water, right? £12 for the wood screws, another £7 for new plyboard, and an additional £5.50 on the varnish. So we're looking at somewhere in the region of 25 quid already. Now, depending on how you look at it, I'll only need maybe a dozen or 2 dozen screws, so that's pennies. I'll only need a small amount of varnish, so that's less than £1. And while the laminate, plyboard is going to cost me £7, the plyboard that I've got left over from the original base and lid, which I will also be replacing, I'll clean them both up. Certainly the lid, I'll clean it up some more, and I'll use that to create the compartments within the walls of the box itself. So you could say I've spent £25 on a box, which is completely ludicrous, or restoring an old box, or I'll only use a very small percentage of the fastenings and fixings I bought for the box, and I'll only use a very small percentage of the varnish. So how much have I actually spent? And it will, these will do for other things as well. Having said that, moving on. When I removed the laminate, not the laminate, I keep calling it that, the plyboard, there were a total of 18 small, I don't know what you'd call them, what are they called, brads or nails or tacks. These are roughly, these are the sort of thing. It's not focusing very good. I've noticed this camera doesn't seem to focus so well these days. I'll get another one, see if it's any clearer. Just set them up here. So you can see that they're well rusted. Obviously the box has been kept in quite damp conditions at some point. I got somewhere in the region of a dozen, or no, I think it's maybe 14 of these small nails out of the wood, but the other 4 have snapped in the wood, and I've just pulled the heads off the nail, and the rest of the nail is left in the walls. So I'm left with a small problem now, in so much that not only has some of the plyboard stayed on the sides and front and back of the box, it must have been glued on in some respect. You can see it maybe clearer here, where the underlayer of the plyboard has come away. But then also I have bits like this here, where you can quite easily see the nail. What's left of the nail is still proud of the wood, but there's very little chance of me extracting that now. So I'll just have to hammer that down and use some little punch or pin just to drive it underneath the surface of the wood, and then when I do come around to tacking on the new laminate, plyboard rather, using slightly different positions to do so. Don't like doing that, but it's I'll just have to, I'm afraid. So yeah. Why does everything take longer than it should and cost more money? So yeah, I think that'll do for now. I'm not going to get much time to do much more to it this week, or this weekend. I'm going to try to sand up the sides. I'll remove the the top trim, as I have called it. I'll salvage the support strut here. I don't know what else to call that. It's just a stick that gives the top a little bit of support, and then the hinges were in there. So I'll salvage that and I'll reuse that. But I will replace this top trim, and I'll also replace the top on the lid as well. I've removed the screws which were holding the lid down, but there's also these tacks here, as you can see, so I'll likely experience the same issues with them as I did with the base. But when I put the new lid on, I think I shall put in some screws just to help strengthen the join in the support strut with the plywood top. What I noticed was that this has been what's happening. The support strut's coming away from the lid top, and that was causing the hinge to become slack and sort of not very good in its operation. So I'll reinforce all three hinges with 2 brass wood screws on either side. 1 and 2, 1 and 2, and then another 1 and 2 over here. I don't know if your camera will pick this up, but they've had issues with this, and they've used these small nails to try and reinforce it, and that's obviously not worked very successfully. They're of a much smaller size than these ones, so this box has either been fixed up a few times by different guys, or it's been cobbled together originally by with just whatever they had available at the time. So yeah, I've now got a box of firewood, but you got to break things before you can start fixing them properly. So until next time, folks, I hope you're well and enjoyed the video, and hopefully next time you'll start to see the next video will start showing some progress. Bye for now.